Welcome to the Gentleman's Talk, where the podcast talks about a man's battle with mental health, his personal experiences, and his journey to be a better soul. Hosted by James Dean Littlejohn.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to hopefully part 2 of the live show with the Billster. I'm hoping I can get him in. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know whether it's my, it's my internet or not. I've tried all sorts to see if he's joined the room. I'm going to see if he can join in. Invite the Billster. My invite's been sent. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. There's no lag.
Oh my God.
We've
finally got it sorted.
I am literally not moving. I've restarted my phone. I also managed to chuck my phone about 70 miles across the room, mate.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I was jibbing away on the last one, because I didn't even hear you enter the room, mate. You just said Billster's on the live, but I couldn't hear anything apart from a slight crackle.
Oh no, I was there, mate, listening to you jibber jabbering, and I was quite enjoying it. To be honest with you.
I was just sat there talking around. I was like, and then I put my ear to the phone, you know, like you do in a horror movie, and I was like the, you know, where you're trying to listen to the bottom of the door, and I was like, I can hear Billy rustling around. I'm sure of it. And then I was like, are you there? And you were like, no, I've been here 20 minutes, dickhead, listening to you jib on. That was literally amazing. I was like, so I've restarted my phone. It did say I had a network connection problem, so I've restarted my phone. I don't know what it is. The new iPhone update's playing around a little bit, so I do need to look into getting a decent kit that just connects normally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I knew it was going to go wrong because you were chatting away, we were chatting fine, no lag, and then you just stopped talking, and then like about 3 seconds later continued exactly where you'd stopped talking, and I went, oh, here we go. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, exactly. This is us done, mate.
Yeah.
So did you get my point, though, on what I was trying to say there?
Yes, mate. 100%. Love it. Love the enthusiasm. I love the way that you're doing all these, listening to the people's action, not just listening to the conversation, but looking at the bigger picture from what they're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like massively important. And I think that, like I said, like I was trying to finish off on the last bit there, was just sort of saying it's really important to talk, but at the same time, it's just as important, if not more important, to listen. And sometimes I think that's where we go a little bit wrong as well. People can say they're listening, but do they actively listen? I certainly do to you guys and the little group that we have and my family. I always listen to every part of the conversation to understand as much as I can. I know further afield it gets a bit difficult, but you know where I'm coming from with that.
I really do, mate. And sometimes it is difficult to actively listen when someone starts a conversation with something you don't want to hear.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, how many times have you been sat there, you're feeling in a shit mood, and, you know, all of a sudden someone starts talking about how they're in a shit mood and you're like, I don't want to fucking hear this.
Yeah, mate. And it's really hard because, along this, this journey that we're all taking together, the Good Vibes group, it's hard, man, when you're not 100% yourself and then someone comes along and goes, hey, listen, I'm not 100%. And you're like, oh man, I really don't need this today, but here we are, we're going through this together.
Yeah, and do you know what? We found that on was it last Thursday or something, and it was like every single one of us was just having a really shit time at all different levels, and it was kind of like, even, you know, the fact that all four of us were all having a really shit day, we all made the effort to talk, and then, like I said, the best part of that grew from that was we all started sending each other little personal messages as well. And I think that I spoke about this in my podcast, and I know you absolutely jumped on that, because it is, I do appreciate a good personal message, because it just, I don't know, just that personal touch always feels a little bit more like you're supported at the time when you could possibly need it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really agree with that, mate. And it does. It's nice to see, with the group, and it pops up and there's, little icons that pop up and say there's like 3 messages and you listen to all the lads. But then when you see a personal one from like, you or Kieran or fucking, J-Dog.
Yeah.
It's, it's all good, mate. It's all good.
Exactly, and that's it. And it just perks your mood up. And even when you're having that shit day, knowing that you're all going through it together does make that little bit, I think, at the end of the day. And then when we do feel like I feel a lot better today, and when you do feel better, you naturally then, with that recuperation period you've had and that reflection time you've had, you go in and go, fucking, let's do it, guys. Let's fucking smash out of the bag. Let's get back to drinking beer and fucking causing havoc.
Big time. And the Nelster's really good at that, mate. Nelster just, he pings some like personal messages. Well, certainly to me. I don't know if he does them to you, but he certainly does to me. You know what I mean? Just as little pick-me-ups and little, what's it called? Spurring you on sort of thing.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't get that personal touch. He obviously doesn't love me as much, but, no, I do. I'm literally just putting you on the hot plate. But yeah, he does. And that's what sort of spurs me on as well. That's why even, I've got an iWatch and, we can chat through that. So he normally sends me little motivational things, for the fitness aspect, which comes through just as a natural click on your watch. But if someone's done, he'll say something like, Nelly's done fucking 1.2 kilometers and you just go fucking legendary and put a little bit, nice one, buddy, keep up the tough work or whatever. It's really easy to do that. And I think that's the utilizing technology to our advantage to help us, in our well-being. We're all in completely different areas. So it is important to try and utilize it in the right way to connect on these media things.
Yeah, it really is, mate. And, these advances in technology have both pros and cons. You can't get away from it, but at the same time, someone's always there for you, whether they be, down the street or across the world.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And that's that's, if you do it the right way anyway, that's the way to do it. But I did ask you, how have you been, mate? What have you been up to?
Oh, mate, so I've been up and down, mate, to be honest with you. I've had some gleaming days. I've had some not so good days. And it's funny, that certain small things affect you in different ways. It's definitely that time of year, innit, where we're getting less sunlight.
Seasonal effect disorder, mate.
Sunlight. Yeah, man. And, I certainly find it harder to wake up at, whatever time I get up in the morning when it's still dark outside to sort of like have that jump out of bed mentality and get the day started. Whereas I was noting in the summer, I'd open my eyes, it'd already be light outside. I'm out of bed, mate. I'm running around the house. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting ready to go to work. But now it's sort of like, right, okay, you wake up, still dark. You don't really want to get out of bed. You sort yourself out. You look outside, still dark. You don't want to walk to work because it's raining or what have you.
Mate, it is. And it's like, it's even the level, even when you're in the summer, and it's like, I know it's really important to talk about this. So it's more so, I think, in the UK because we do suffer from it. But it's when you wake up in the summer, it's not only is it light at like 5 o'clock in the morning, but you don't mind it. It's also warm. So you're like, when you get the nice period where it's like 24 degrees, not your 30 odds, which there's probably people in America and other places laughing their ass off at fucking 30 odd when they're in the 40s. But this time of year, it's horrible because it's dark, it's cold, it's normally wet. We've seen a fucking tremendous amount of rain, even though we're still on a fucking hosepipe ban, which is ludicrous of the UK. But you don't want to get out of bed. You find it warm and cozy. And even in the morning, I'm really sluggish. There's no enthusiasm or as much enthusiasm to go out on my dog walk. I know that the evenings when you're fucking got completely rain coated up to hell and you're walking around the field, you're like, this isn't as nice, nearly slipping over on shitty mud, because it could be shit, it could be mud, you don't really know. It's just a bit crazy, isn't it?
Oh, big time, man. And I'm opening my front door and it's literally, it's like an autumn postcard in my porch now. You know what I mean? The leaves are just completely blown in and, I'm going full camo, mate, on, my shoes and jackets that are in the porch. They're getting cammed up with leaves.
Oh, mate, absolutely fucking full on. Not seeing anyone, mate. And we naturally hibernate as well, don't we, at this time of year? And it's all really, especially I think if you're an outdoorsy person, I'm a really outdoorsy person. I know you are as well. And when you can't do those outdoor things, it does really start to get you down. Nelly's joined the room and, he'll probably relate in the fact that when he goes out for his seasonal, those fantastic walks he goes along the river, They won't be as fantastic because they'll be shitty and horrible. I mean, you can still get out and do the exercise, which is absolutely fantastic, but you're not getting the serotonin that you would get from that sun, and then the fact that it's warm and you're just literally, I know, mate, it will look amazing because it's countryside, mate, absolutely. But I mean, it's like the weather when you're wrapped up and stuff. If you feel a little bit chilly, it's not as you don't get the same enthusiasm as what you would in the summer when you're in shorts and a vest, fucking, having a vape along that lake, and and it's beautifully hot outside. That's just a really nice feeling, isn't it?
But it's also, and this is where you fight against it, is it's also a lovely feeling to be wrapped up on the sofa with a big blanket on the go and the telly on, and it's just like, oh, this is good, man. But at the same time, that could be a negative as well. That the fact that you aren't getting out then, and you're not interacting with people, and you're not getting the fresh air, you just sat on your sofa, vegging it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's. We all know we will put a little bit of extra weight on. I know we've taken a little bit of an advancement to try and stop us from putting on the weight. We're all looking after ourselves, and I know you're producing a lot of fucking food porn at the moment. So I think for me, absolutely fantastic. I think it's great that we're doing that because it's sort of when you're naturally in the wintertime, you eat stodgier food, you eat your breads and your big soups and all that, loaded or whatever. But, you've got to really look after yourself, haven't you? Especially at this time of year.
Yeah, man, it's real key. And like I was just saying a minute ago, having the ups and downs, it's mental how little almost insignificant things can really sort of put a bit of a misery down. Like this morning, So last week. So for everyone who's listening out there, right, the four of us, we've all got involved on a bit of a health drive, a little bit of a health kick. We want to start losing a bit of weight. We want to get a little bit more healthier, blah blah. And we're all spurring each other on every single day. How you doing? How's your calories going? What are you having to
Monday?
Weigh-ins and stuff like that, right? So last week I thought that I was really hitting it hard, mate. With the salads and the proteins and the shakes and all that stuff, veggies, and I weren't snacking. I haven't touched bread for 2 weeks, apart from that bagel that I sent you a picture of the bagel on Saturday. I thought I'd done really well. And the week before, I lost like two odd kilos. And I was like, oh man, well this week, this is going to be like another 2 kilos. And then for me to wake up this morning and I was really excited about getting on the scales. I thought, oh God, you're looking a bit leaner and stuff like that. And then half a pound, mate, lost half a pound. It was surprising how much of a kick in the nuts that was.
Yeah.
Man. I was really down, man. I've been down today.
Yeah, but the thing is, you've got to remember is, you say it to us every single Sunday. You always message and go, if you've lost a pound, absolutely fantastic. Whether you've lost a pound or 10 pounds, absolutely fantastic. But if you haven't lost any, it's lessons learned. The fact that you lost half a pound is absolutely fantastic. You must also remember as well that you are increasing your protein intake. So that's naturally going to add a little bit of weight. I mean, I'm not going to go into the physics or anything bollocks like that to do with fitness, but I'm not skilled enough in that sort of area. But what I do know is you will have those ups and downs. You'll have a crash week and then you'll have a good, you'll have a slow week, but you still made a half a pound loss, mate. And from a 2.5 kilogram loss last week, and then what was it the first week we did it? I think you got about 1.5 or 1 pound loss, and that was
a half a pound that first week.
Yeah, but that was coming back from a fucking stag do and a big fucking meal and everything.
That's true.
So you had a really weighty, start to the week, but managed to shed half a pound still because you were actively being a bit more active. So you're going to get the balance right, mate. But you shouldn't be disheartened when you think that that's 2.6 kilograms. That's a lot of weight, mate. In fact, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, but and I think this is what we need to do. So that's made me feel a little bit better. Because today I've been dwelling on it going,
you've got to look at the bigger, you've got to look at the bigger picture, mate, because, if you look at the bigger picture, don't look at it as I've had a bad week. It's like me, I've lost 3 pounds compared to your 2.6 kilograms. So that's, if you wanted to go into the comparison stats, then that I could look at that as a bad outlook. But in actual fact, no, because I've just, I'm doing it slow and steady. I've still had a couple of gins each week, but at the same time, I'm just enjoying the journey along with you guys. I'm loving the fact that we're all speaking healthy, keeping healthy, so that I can enjoy the odd day here and there. But it's slow and steady wins the race, mate. And I think that you going up and down, but just watching your habits change. In the next 3 months, mate, I think I'm going to see significant changes, especially in all of us, just by the way that we're talking. But you've really, really upped the game, mate. And just in the food that you're providing is of really good quality. And I think that's the important bit, is just look at it as a habit change or a food change, a lifestyle change. That's the word I'm looking for. A lifestyle change, rather than I'm just trying to lose a bit of weight. You're actually going to be in a lifestyle. You're going to look after yourself.
Yeah, man. And I mean, you seen the picture that I sent of my fridge. If I'd have sent you a picture of the fridge, like, let's say a month ago, you would have seen the pies and the pasties and, the chocolate and stuff like that. And that picture that I sent you last night, was it last night? Night before?
Oh, night before, yeah.
I've got fruits, got full salad, the salad tray in there, they've got the zero drinks, I've got oat milk, I've got red top milk. I've got, I'm prepping meals now. I'm proper calorie counting.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the lifestyle change. So when you go out and you have a Guinness, or you have a good night, or you go in on a stag do, it doesn't matter, because you're coming back to that healthy lifestyle just by seeing your fridge filled with other proper stuff, rather than chocolates, fatty drinks, and I mean, my fridge used to always be stocked with Pepsi Max, always. Now I don't at all. I have one bottle of lemonade a week that normally goes with my gin, and I don't drink the full lemonade anyway. And I normally buy the healthiest lemonade I can buy, and that's it. That's my only fizzy drink. The rest of the time, it is just water or juice. That's it.
Yeah.
And just by doing that, I've noticed I've been starting to lose a bit of weight, because I'm not filling myself with fatty foods. I'm not consuming so much bread as what I would, 2 to 4 slices of bread a day I was having. And I think that's where you're going to see the benefit, mate. I think you've already seen a benefit. I've definitely seen that photo you sent the other day, in the group chat, and we were just kind of having a laugh. Nothing rude, by the way. You get your fucking minds out the gutters, you lot.
Dirty.
I could see the difference in you straight away. And I said that, and I think that's the important bit, is noticing that it's not always on the scales you lose it, but when you start losing it in your clothing, and you start losing it in your face, is the last place to lose it normally. So it's kind of just to see it there, it's coming off right. And that's the lifestyle change.
I think, one of the main things that kicked me right up the arse was when I went to the doctors the other day, and I had to wear a blood pressure monitor, and they said, look, your blood pressure is through the roof. And I'm like, okay. And they were explaining to me, what things it could be, a bit of stress at work and
cholesterol,
this, that, and the other. And in the end, all I'm going is, it's because I love kebab so much. That's what it is. It's because they're just being nice. But they said to me, look, do you have much salt in your diet? And mate, I salt it up all the time.
And how many times have I told you to fucking get rid of it?
Yeah, and I have, mate, and I've completely cut it out on my diet. Unless it's naturally in the food.
Yeah, it's in the food. Yeah, of course.
I haven't put salt on anything, mate. Like nothing.
Just by doing that is going to lower, and I know we're going into the health side of things, but health is important for your mindset. It's so important for your mindset, just because even when I was low last week, the fact that I was still talking to you about healthy food, I still had that injected into me all the time, that everyone's eating healthy around me. It motivates you to not want to get into that shit place and then pull out a doner kebab or a fucking box of, a tub of Ben and Jerry's. It doesn't stop you, from sitting there and overeating. It's not just a women thing. Men do it as well, horrendously. Well, I think, we do as humans. When you feel that low point, you do overeat, and you eat the wrong foods because you're looking for that gratification. But the fact that now I already see you getting excited about the fucking good food. Like Nelly talks about it all the time. Kieran talks about it all the time. And he posts his, his fucking wraps he has and his bananas. And it's all just really good, positive stuff.
Well, yeah, but he also posts, drink a glass of water, which, doesn't fill me with the biggest of delicious meals in my head.
No, it doesn't, mate.
jug of water, mate. But no, I get where he's come from, and I even done it again last night. I was.
I know, I saw
sat
the
there.
fucking thing, mate. I was like, that's amazing. Nelly's joined us. Nelly is on the hooch.
Good evening.
No stop.
We're waiting for you to sound like you're going past like fucking a motorway or something. Or
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm at home, so I'm nice and quiet. There's no one in either, so it's nice and peaceful.
Ooh, lovely, mate. Lovely. How you been anyway?
Yeah, I'm alright, mate. I've had my first day on my new job today, which is a little bit sketchy, but I'm at home and I didn't kill anyone, so must have done alright.
How did you get on, mate? How did you get on?
Nelster, are you in training still, or are you like quelled up, mate, ready to go and deliver what you're doing?
Mate, not even almost. I am winging it like a mofo, mate. Just fucking giving it a go and seeing how it goes. And if it's not for me, then I'm going to do something else. I'm quite fortunate in my position in the family, as in my wife is the main bread earner, and I kind of faff around earning a lot less than her, but like a bit of money. And so I've been given the opportunity to figure out what I want to do. So let's see if this is what I want to do.
Yeah, mate, you got to jump on that. I think you're such a that's such a good place to be, mate. Not have to sort of worry, and I think that's like for you to take advantage of that for your own mental health is a must. You have to jump on that.
For the last 20 years, my work life has just been about the kids and about being a stay-at-home dad, and then I worked at a school so that I could be at home for the 13 weeks a year the little buggers have off every year. So now I can start focusing on me, which is a bit daunting, to be fair, because I'm used to just like having everything just easy and doing it all, and it just happens. But yeah,
you have
44.
to plan a little bit, mate.
44, mate. It might be time to get a proper job. Not a proper job, but like to find out what I want to do.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. Like you say, and I started the last podcast because this is the second attempt. I was literally talking about Kieran, and he's doing the same. You've gone into a new job this week. Kieran's going into a new job next week. All of us. I did it, last year, and we're all in our 40s, and we're just starting afresh. We're seeing that enthusiasm. It's really nice to see that we're all focusing on the future. We're all focusing on trying new things and just bettering our lives.
I'll be honest, James. I just don't know what I'm doing. I haven't got a clue, mate. We'll just see. I'm literally just taking each day as it comes.
Every day as it comes, mate. Like I said,
that's where I'm at.
Said to you, mate. If you're at the bottom of the steps, I always say this: you're at the bottom of the steps, looking up, and it's all foggy. If you can only see that first step in front of you, that's the one you take, mate.
Yeah, and you know what? You're not just like all you guys have been super supportive, super helpful, and I've been feeling a little bit shit. I knew that I could just listen to any one of Kieran's morning messengers at 7:14.
He is literally every day, mate. He is without fail I get a 7:10 and a 7:14ish one. And it's literally like, yo, buddy, it's cloudy outside, it's pissing down. It's just full of enthusiasm, which some days I'm not 100% there, but he certainly picks me up. And then we get the odd random video from Bill still walking to work. He used to have more chins than a Chinese phone book. I'm looking forward to the next video now. He's losing a bit of weight now, mate.
Chin chin.
Chin chin. But mine are going to be rivaling Kieran's from now on, because when I go to work, I'll be leaving the house at like 7:20. So mine should be nice and early from now on.
Nice.
I don't know how he does it, because I'm usually on the throne, just literally playing like a game or something on my phone or checking Facebook and that, and then all of a sudden it's like, morning!
Yeah.
He's already in the car though, isn't he? That's why.
Yeah,
he's already.
That will change soon, because he's starting this new job, which means he doesn't have to travel, half an hour to 45 minutes to work now. So he's literally like, I think, a 15-minute cycle ride from his work now. So I don't think, because he's starting at 8, I think he'll be a little bit later now. He'll probably be like, I don't know, actually, he's quite a routine guy. He likes to get up. Normally, I think he gets up the same time most days. So
he's got to have his pint of water, hasn't he?
He's got to have his pint of water, hasn't he, the old bastard? So yeah, man. So it's all good. Like I say, we're just sort of jibbing away, really. But so, Billster, how you been? Come on, what you been up to? You didn't finish it.
So was it last weekend? Not the weekend just gone, the weekend before, qualified as assistant scuba diving instructor. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Well done, bro.
Really, really good. I think I think I might have found my calling in life is teaching. I really do enjoy teaching and instructing and passing on knowledge, if that makes sense.
Any subject or specific subjects?
I enjoy the delivery. It doesn't matter what it is.
Delivery. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as I can deliver it and I see someone who's gone from not knowing something, not knowing how to do it, to then I see the end product of them like doing it, replicating it, and it's inbuilt into their mind. I absolutely love that, mate. I really do.
I've got a little bit of a question for you here, because this resonates with me, because I enjoy that aspect, and I know that my dad enjoys that aspect. I also know a couple of my ex-colleagues enjoy that aspect. And the thing we all have in common is we're all used to doing that in the military. We're all used to getting to a role where we have to change. We have to trade people. Do you think, that's the sort of thing that, that is an environmental thing?
A million percent. But there are people that can do it, and there are people that are not so good at it.
Absolutely.
They can do it, but it's not. You can tell they don't enjoy it. That some people don't have the confidence to be able to stand up in front of people that they don't know, or they don't have the patience for someone who isn't getting it first time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we've all got the ability to instruct and teach, but some people might have a little bit of a better forte than other people, and I think I might have that. I might have that ability.
I mean, I like to say, I had the pleasure of, I was a very easy student when you were showing me how to shotgun. You didn't really teach me much. I'm just a natural, but,
agreed.
But seriously, you did show me, like, it was just the whole, what I enjoyed about it. It was, you went right down to the basics and spoke to it on the same level. And I think that's the key part of teaching people, is to be able to talk on the same level of those people, rather than, you can tell a bad instructor, somebody who just talks to everybody as if they're all his level or, below him. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever. There's certain aspects you don't quite get it. But when you have the adaptability to talk to different levels, I think that is where you sort of grow, and that's where you find what you enjoy doing.
Yeah, man, and like I say, I really do enjoy it, and of course, bringing another environment into the whole thing where you can't talk underwater, and people to explaining to people how to do things with hand signals and motions and repetition is, it's just bringing another aspect into it, and I just absolutely love it. I think that's really good. So that perked me up. But then, what is it? My brother-in-law was involved in a really bad car accident the other week.
Right. Sorry to hear that.
So he's absolutely fine.
You know how I feel about car accidents, mate. That's the whole purpose. This is the very foundation of this whole thing for me.
Well, I have said to him numerous numbers of times, I've seen him, and I've told him your story, and I've said, listen, mate, I said, I know you want to be fine. I know you are. He's not fine. He's really injured his back. He's in a lot of pain and what have you.
Yeah.
But he's alive. I mean, he's not like, he ain't got no cuts on him or anything like that. And when they cut him out of the car, mate, they cut him out of the car.
Yeah.
A big what's it called, like a delivery van. He was in a traffic jam, stationary on the motorway, and a delivery van the bloke was supposedly reaching down for his phone or something like that, then looked up and it was too late, just ploughed into him, shunted him underneath a big Arctic truck. So they had to cut him out, and he's all right.
Yeah.
But I said to him, I said, mate, you've got to go and see someone. I know you don't want to, but you've got to go and see someone, because I think he's having a bit of a hard time, flashbacks and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, which is what
I told him about you, and I said, you have, you've been suffering, I suppose is the word, suffering for a long time, and you need to see people. Not everything works for everyone. So anyway, I've said to him, I popped down to see him last week and a week before. Last week and this weekend, and also popped down to see my father-in-law. He's old now. He's just come out of hospital. He's got so many things like wrong with him, and just to spend some time with him this weekend was nice.
Yeah, and do you know what? it's, if you don't get it, the only thing I can say is if you don't get it dealt with, like I didn't, and I suffered for, I would say the whole foundation really, I think for me, was not knowing where to go, not knowing how to do it. We are talking, 12, 14 years ago. So mental health wasn't really massively important then. I think it's only really grown the last couple of years massively. Probably a little bit before that. I'm not going to put stats on it, but I know that I didn't really understand mental health when I got the problems. And because I didn't see anybody for 4 years before I actually went, and I was going through the insurance process and I just didn't feel right. Luckily I spoke out, but because I didn't, I think that if I'd have gone earlier, I can guarantee actually if I'd have gone earlier, I would have dealt with things a lot easier, because I'd got to the point where I just lived with these problems for such a long time. And I have, we're talking 14 years on, and I'm sat here now with the borderline migraine because my back in certain positions is still screwed. There's nothing that can be done. It's advanced degeneration due to the car crashes. But because I didn't get looked at properly and I didn't push properly to go to a CBT therapist, a cognitive behavior therapist, if I'd have gone to them, they would have unpicked this all for me. They would have got me back. They certainly gave me life-changing skills. And I mean life-changing in the sense, I'm not talking lots of money. I'm talking just mental health conditioning. So when I get in my car is set to a certain level. The lights are at night, because that's when I get the problems. They're set right down low. I have to have the music ready. I have a certain process that I have to do that was all instilled by the CBT therapist. So if you
I get it, man. I get it, and that's what I keep saying to him. I keep saying, look, I know because you're a bloke and you don't want to admit that you might not be handling it as well as you can. You've got to persevere with this. And he said he went to the therapist the other day and they mentioned PTSD, and he said the standard thing that everyone else who's not in the military seems to say, it's PTSD, that's only soldiers get that, don't they? It's only soldiers. And it's like, no, it's not that.
You can get it from everything. My daughter, she's got it right now. This is something we're having to go through. It revolves around, yes, inherently we do think of it as soldiers because we think about war. We think of Afghanistan, Iraq. Those are the sort of big things where it sort of really came prevalent. And, we talk about that sort of side of things. Used to be known as like shell shock, didn't it? In the olden days. And that's what it was. But then they called it PTSD. But people now have just thought that PTSD just revolves around being a soldier. But the reason that's so prevalent to us now in the media is because of the wars we've just recently had. And we're dealing with the fallout from those wars. So soldiers now complaining of PTSD because of what they've seen in Afghanistan, etc. But in actual fact, post-traumatic stress disorder is anything where you've caused a stress after a traumatic experience. So that could be anything. You can have PTSD from, abuse at home. You can have PTSD from a car crash. You could have PTSD from, I know somebody had a PTSD. They wouldn't get on a bus because they had a severe bus crash. Now, they weren't driving the bus. They literally were on the bus, but now they won't get on it because they're life-changing experiences. And
I was diagnosed last year with PTSD.
Yeah, I was literally just going to draw straight onto you, mate, because you're exactly the same. That's how we started talking, wasn't it?
Yeah. I suppose I'm still coming to terms with that label, if you like, if you want to call it a label, because I knew I wasn't right. I knew something wasn't right. And if you saw the kind of thing that I saw 20 years ago, then you would expect something you'd expect to have a consequence. For me, it's night terrors, which makes me make some terrible decisions not to go to sleep and stuff. And it affects every area of your life, like everything, like your marriage, your work life, everything.
It's debilitating, and that's and people don't realise that PTSD. I mean, I remember it was only last year, and bearing in mind, I have literally just put on that PTSD is. PTSD is sort of fairly new. It's not fairly new, but mental health now is quite prevalent. But I remember speaking to this lady, and she outright had an argument with me because she said that PTSD it goes away. Well, it doesn't go away. It depends on what that traumatic experience it was. I mean, mine was 3 head-on collisions in a car crash. That's really hard to fucking get away from that. I know what Nellie's is, and it'd be really hard to get away from that. You know,
it's never going away.
That's what I'm saying.
Ever.
So that's why I was diagnosed by a professional psychiatrist as having permanent PTSD, because it's around certain situations, driving at night, driving in a car, but it also it's manifested in this control mechanism. I want to be in control all the time. So it really frustrates me when people don't understand that PTSD is a debilitating disorder. I don't like using it as a label, because I think label is quite everyone wants to label everything nowadays. But when you've had that traumatic experience, what that can do. And here I am, 14 years later, still having severe fucking episodes of, depression.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it.
I think the big thing is as well, because it's invisible.
Yeah.
A lot of that, I think that denotes why people don't understand it, because for me, apart from people that I choose to tell, I fucking just crack on with the day. You would not know, looking at me and the way I am in my general day, when I'm skipping down the road like an absolute lunatic, jumping over things and just being a daft egg literally all day. You wouldn't know that I probably had 2 hours sleep, really had a panic attack about going to work this morning, regardless of why it was or whatever's going on. But you just crack on. You learn to live with it. And since I've sought some help, I know that I now have quite a lot of tools to be able to make my days easier on myself. That's kind of how it feels. It's never going to fuck off. It's never going away.
No, what you do is you just make your life better, and you constantly improve yourself. And I think that, for me, episodes get less because of the people I'm surrounded by, et cetera, et cetera.
100%.
I think it's so important, and that's why, it's important to identify that you have it. It's important to understand. But like you said, you hit a key point there. It is invincible. It is invisible. It is invincible.
You can't see it. It's not like losing an arm, is it?
That's what I mean. And because, do you know the only way now that I display my episodes, if you like, is by being open and honest. So I walk in with the missus or whoever I'm around, and I go, I'm having a bit of a bad day. I literally spoke to my parents because I saw them on Friday, and they were really worried about me Friday, and they were messaging me saying, I hope you're okay, son. And my dad was checking in on me, because he didn't want to say we thought you were down, but they knew I was definitely out of character. And then when I saw them yesterday, I was like, I was just feeling a bit low. There goes, and they said, we realised that, but we really appreciate you talking to us openly about it. And I think that's when people now see the difference in me. But they acknowledge why there's a difference on me. I'm not just being a prick. I'm just having a really fucking bad day. So you need to give me a bit more space. I think that's really important. Filter's gone quiet as well. He's just fucking chinned us off, hasn't he?
He's listening. No, I'm listening, mate. I'm listening. I'm taking it all in. What you guys are saying, and sometimes people come to me and they go, I don't think I'm right. There's something going on in my head, or something's happened, blah blah blah. And I go, well, listen, you should probably go and seek someone's help, or a medical professional or something like that. And they're like, no. And I say, look, if you come in here with your arm broken in two, what would you do? And they go, well, I'd go hospital. I go, yeah. So just because it's not a physical injury doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and seek some help to repair yourself.
Yeah. And I think that is what you've hit the nail on the head. And this is where I get really frustrated. I get frustrated actually with a couple of things. I get really frustrated with people that self-diagnose themselves and don't do it via a professional. It really frustrates me, because I think if you believe that, go and get diagnosed so we can get some medication and help you. And I also think that it's okay to listen and it's okay to speak out, but you have to acknowledge it. You have to do something about it. I know a couple of really good friends that I've lost friendships with them because I've acknowledged that they've got something wrong. I've tried to help them, but they never ever do the help bit. And I go, we're just going to be round in circles and circles until you acknowledge you've got a problem, speak out about it, and try and get help. You're just going to be a massively negative person. And I think that's the important part is exactly what you said there. Someone's come to you for advice. You've given them advice, but they don't want to act on it.
Yeah. And sometimes I have the response of, oh no, I'll be able to sort this out myself, or they won't be able to help me. And I go, hang on a minute, sorry, just remind me again, how many years at medical school did you do? And they go, what? Well, I haven't done any years at medical school. I say, all right, okay. How many years at medical school did I do? And they were like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I done none neither. So it should probably be best if you go and see someone who might have, 5, 6, 7, whatever years of medical knowledge behind them.
I think
that can help you.
I think there is a double-edged sword to that, a little bit of a double-edged sword, and I think this is what why we're talking about this right now is a reason why there's a double-edged sword to that exact topic we're talking about there, because sometimes we are scared to go and get help. I must address that. We are, as men, don't want to sometimes acknowledge that we need the help, but sometimes I think you need to have the strength. If somebody's double telling you, and this is where I've learned so much more now, because how many times have I was having a shit place last year, early this year, and the more and more I'm in a shit place now, the more and more I go, guys, I'm having a fucking bad day, and you all just carry on, but with more positivity, and that raises me up. And I think that's the problem is it's getting over that barrier. And we've all done it. I've been an advocate of that. I've worn a mask. I know Nelly will absolutely fucking agree with me that he's worn a mask for the last fucking 20, 30 odd years, where you pretend that everything's okay. You get on with it. And when you have a bad day, everyone just thinks you're a complete and utter arsehole. I think that it's really hard to battle that. And I think the more positivity we talk about on such shows like this, the more we say to people exactly what you said. If someone's telling you to go to a doctor, go to the doctor, seek that help, take that first step. I mean, even to the point where you can spend, I think it's like £35 for an hour's session with a CBT therapist. I think it is privately. You can go there and spend an hour just to see if you've got something that's worth talking about, just to relieve your mind, relieve that stress.
Yeah. Absolutely spot on, mate.
Speaking from my barriers there's 19 years that I never really sought any advice from the evening where I saw someone being stabbed to death. That's basically what my second day in Bournemouth, driving through Charminster, and there's some bloke literally stabbing some woman to death. We jumped out the car, etc., etc. For 19 years, I thought to myself, well, I know people have had to deal with worse. Like people, do you know what I mean? That people have had worse stuff happen to them, and it's quite normal for you to have some bad dreams about it. And it's really, for me, I found it really difficult to admit. In fact, not even that. I didn't want to talk about it to anyone. I didn't want to have to think about it and relive it.
Yes, you
with anyone else.
You buried it.
Yeah, I did, and I spoke to my wife every now and again. And when I did talk to her, she got cross because, well, you need to go and see someone in there. If it's how you're feeling, you need to go and see someone. So then I learnt not to fucking tell her because she got cross with me for telling her I had a bad dream, like whatever the thing was.
And what did I say? What did I say to you 10 months ago? What's the first thing I said to you?
Hi, Neil.
No, I didn't say hi, Neil, mate, because I said, pull your pants back up, mate.
Do you want one finger or two? I can't remember that.
Are we on one or two yet, mate?
You're a bit loose in the glory hole.
But I know that.
The first thing I said to you was you need to go to get help. That's the first thing I said. You need to speak to someone.
I phoned someone that day.
You did. That day, you were like, dude,
I phoned someone that day.
I know you did.
I got an appointment the week after, and then I started my sessions 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, exactly. And here we are now talking on this, and you've made, you're on your third attempt at a different job. You're massively pushing yourself forward in terms of trying different things to get yourself in a better place. You've got a fucking amazing family around you. You've nurtured the right friends around you. You're on a health drive and you're losing fucking weight. But there's so much positivity pissing out of your ears, mate. It's brilliant news.
I think, and I can see it. I just can't at the moment. I feel like I might be a bit not depressed. I'm feeling I'm just confused and old, and all the things that people feel when they're just not feeling very confident about themselves. Is exactly where I'm at the moment, and it is. I'll be honest, it is not a good place to be. It's like,
it's horrible, mate.
No, it is not a great place to be, and you wouldn't, unless I'm talking, like, I know I'm talking on a podcast now, but I don't talk about stuff enough, and I know I don't, and I chat about it to myself constantly, and then you second guess what you just said to yourself, and you think, oh, maybe you do feel that way, because I do need to start. I need to start talking more to people other than my wife, who just tells me off. You should be feeling that way.
But you are nurturing that slowly by the fact that you talk to us a lot more. You know, we've made an effort to try and get ourselves together, and we're going to do that a lot more in the future. I'm trying to plan something to come up for Christmas for us all to get together. So these are all things, positivity. And I know sometimes it's really hard to see that. And I know you weren't here for part one when we were talking about seasonal affect disorder. And you got to remember, you live by the beach. You're used to that sunny weather.
Yeah.
Inherently, you're out all the time, aren't you? And I said you're out all the time. You've not been out as much recently as what you were, 3 or 4 weeks ago when the sun was shining. And all of these do take a massively negative effect on you mentally.
Yeah. I totally agree.
That's where we bolster each other up. That's where we look after each other. And that's where we show that positivity. I don't think I would get through this health kick, if I'm brutally honest, if I didn't have fucking food porn being provided every day. It's absolutely fantastic. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's where you bounce off. And when you open up, like I said to Billy, the start of the last podcast, I was like, mate, you've lost 2.6 fucking kgs in 3 weeks. That's fucking amazing. You've had a loss every week, Nelly. Absolutely fucking incredible. I don't know what's your total now?
13.5 pounds, baby.
13.5 pounds, mate, in 3 fucking weeks. And it's like, see these.
That's a bit unfair. So I didn't weigh myself this morning because I did have an awful week. So I reckon, if I'm honest, probably around about 10.
So did you set the rules and break the rules?
Do you know what? I didn't mean to break the rules. I got up this morning at ridiculous o'clock, panicked about where my new chef's outfit and stuff was, trying to figure out what the fuck I am this week. I was thinking, wandering around.
What costume have you got on today?
What am I this week? Yeah. Brushed my teeth, and then I was out the door before I knew it, and obviously I haven't got scales in the car.
Ah. You knew the rules.
You knew the rules.
Billy, I know. You know what, Billy? I made the rules. I made that particular rule. And I didn't, I know, but I didn't not weigh myself because I had a bad weekend.
So what are you doing tomorrow?
I'll weigh myself in the morning.
Yeah.
There's no excuse then. You've caught up, mate. You've made the effort.
I've only had 2 bits of scampi and 2 fish fingers all day, so I literally haven't had a break today. It's been mental, absolutely chicken oriental.
Mental, son.
It has been chicken, but in a way, it's kept me super busy, super focused, super not thinking about negative shit. Just trying to think how am I going to get through tomorrow? It kind of is like that, actually. How am I going to get through tomorrow? What have I got to do to get through tomorrow? How does tomorrow look to not fuck up, to not let yourself down, to let other people down, to not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're trying new things. You've got to do it each day as it comes, mate. Billster will, he's the training guru. He'll tell you, take each day as it comes, mate.
Oh, yeah. You got to remember, mate. I asked you that question. I said, "Are you fully trained up, or are you thinking?" You said, "No, I'm just learning. I'm just starting again, mate." And that's, get your mindset right. Don't be putting too much pressure on yourself.
This woman come into the kitchen today and said, "Oh, how long have you been a chef for, Neil?" And I was like, what time is it? she was like, it's 4 o'clock. I went, that's 6 hours, 7 hours, I don't know, something like that.
Wow. She's like, literally like, you're amazing.
Yeah. She chuckled away and then walked off, and I'm pretty sure she probably told everyone else. But they know I've not worked in a kitchen I've worked in fast food for 10 years. I've got experience in food and shit. It's very different. It's in a different environment, and sink or swim as from Wednesday, because the geezer that's been showing me everything isn't there on Wednesday, and I'm on me Billy Lonesome. So
Wednesday day is it?
Wednesday is, and it looks like it doesn't, like there's a set menu every day for everything. No one gives a fuck about it. What's in the fridge? Have a look at what's in the fridge. Do a sausage casserole, maybe some scampi and chips. Are you sure? Yeah, let's do that today. And then in the afternoon, I made a lemon drizzle cake, a coffee and walnut cake, a coconut cake, another type of cake, and a strudel. I've fucking made a strudel. I've never made a strudel before. That was wicked and bad. I really enjoyed that.
Strudeling it up, mate. Billy's like, I could do with a strudel.
I promise you, I never ate one bit of it, apart from 2 bits of scampi and 2 fish fingers, because they were left over.
Boom.
Never trust a skinny chef, mate. Never trust a skinny chef.
But that's only because I ain't got time to eat. I tasted my rice pudding as well, actually. That's a lie. I tasted a bit of I made rice pudding. Forgot about that.
Bloody hell!
Mate,
how much of a sweet tooth do your guests have?
They're all fucking massively. Obviously, they're old. It's an old people's home. and they just eat loads of cake. So there wasn't any cake there. So I made a massive mixture up, like fucking 4 cakes worth of mixture. Put it into 4 bits, mate. Shove some coconut in that one. Shove some fucking coffee and walnut in that one. Shove some ding dong in that one, and some what's in the other one. Shoved them all in the oven, mate, and then cracked on with cleaning stuff. Like, I know that I can be good at it. It's just I'm not sure whether it's what I want to do. I don't know.
Jimbo, can you listen to the enthusiasm in this guy's voice already?
I know, he's
pissing out.
He's pissing out,
isn't he? He's loving
it. It's literally, on one hand, Nelly, you're like, yeah, I've done this, I'm mixing up shit, I'm doing this, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I don't see myself fucking doing it though, you know?
I'm so confused, like, just in general, it's not even about this job, mate, it's about everything. I'm proper perplexed about everything.
You've got to take your time, mate. Take your time to slow down and analyse each bit and, you know, just treat your job as a job, as in like, I'm going to learn. If I enjoy it, I won't. I move on and have that mentality so you don't overthink it.
No, I get it. I'm not intentionally having a hard time. It's just, I'm openly understanding that at the moment. The other night I was in bed and I started fucking getting all upset. And Becky was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I really don't know, mate. I haven't got a clue. And she was like, do you want to talk about it? Don't know, mate. I haven't got a clue I want to talk about it. Let's try and have a chat about it. And I got myself all worked up and upset. And that's when I decided to hand my notice into my old job and just look for another job. And then I got this interview, and this interview kind of coincided with something I'd already organised with my other work. So for the first time ever, I told a little bit of a fibby doos and took the morning off. And it was just, I don't know, it's just fucking tricky, isn't it, mate? It's just tricky being a grown up.
You're just going through a few things, mate.
It's tricky being an adult, mate. Being an adult sucks sometimes, mate.
Well, most of the time, to be fair, mate. But the thing is, you just got to remember, like you say, take every day as it comes, mate. You know, I spoke on a podcast the other day about how we get chucked curveballs daily. So you've got to manage the things you can control. If you can control those things, they just become second nature. If you can control your work and make your work what it is, control your family as best as you can to make them happy, and then just concentrate on yourself, you know, and just take each day as it comes, rather than overwhelm yourself. If you overwhelm yourself, you'll do exactly what you've done there, mate. You'll be sat in bed going, what the fuck? I don't know what's going on. On the last, one of the lives, me and Billy, we spoke about how, you know, we're sat there at fucking 2 a.m, you know, watching fucking TikToks, not together. I'm saying, like, you know, if you're fucking watching TikToks in the morning because your mind's racing and you're just going through the motions. You know, I spoke on a podcast about how I write things down at 2 o'clock in the morning to try and get them off my head. These are all really important things that we need to acknowledge, you know. Billy, all right.
I had a very similar conversation with someone facing pretty similar issues to you, Nelstar, where there was just so much going on through their head, and they was like, "Oh, it's getting too much." And I remember I was sitting down with them, and I said, "Right, well, look, let's go through what's going on, right?" And we sat there for ages, right? And we were chatting about, you know, things that they're thinking about, things that's coming up, stuff. And I said, and it was almost like bringing it down to very simple levels and saying, right, okay, well, look, let's prioritize some stuff. Let's put a timeline out and prioritize stuff. So you've just, you know, told me 20 different things that's going on in your head that you're worried about.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Okay, right. Let's look at them. Right. So 12 of them don't even need to come into your mind until next month. Right. So you're now down to 8. 8 of them are stuff that has no timeline, so you can just like 5 of them have no timeline, so you can tackle them when you need to. So we're left with like 6, 7, 8, 3 things that we need to tackle. Now let's prioritize them. Right, what one, if you didn't do any of them, what would have the worst impact? Oh, that one. Right, okay, well, let's prioritize that as number 1. Okay, we're going to tackle that. How can you complete it? Well, I've done this 100 times. I just do this. Sweet, there you go. So that's a tick. Then we spoke about the next 2. And we said, right, okay, what about this? And, oh, yeah, well, I've done them before. And then it was like just prioritizing these tasks that come up and breaking it down into a timeline of when we can complete them. And when they are complete, of course, then moving on to the next one. And he was like, oh, my God, it's so simple, but I never thought of it that way. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes that old saying, two sets of eyes are better than one, is it? Is that an old saying?
Yeah, that's a saying.
No.
Yeah, so, well,
it is now.
So someone having a different perspective on stuff and breaking stuff down and explaining things, you know, sometimes really helps, mate. And maybe it might help you, Nelster, by just you going, okay, right, I've got a big list of things that I'm thinking about. What stuff has no impact, whether I complete it or don't complete it, or worry about it or don't worry about them things. Throw them away, forget about them. You don't need to worry about them.
Yeah.
Tackle them when you want to. You know what I mean? When you're bored. The other things that are maybe playing on your mind, let's prioritise them. What's the main key factors? What's making you happy? What's making you sad? What's making you think about that certain task or that certain thing that's going on in your head? And a lot of them, I imagine, you've come across or you cross bridges exactly the same as the issue you're targeting now, and you'll go, well, this is what I done last time and it worked.
Yeah.
I can just do that. Do you know what I mean, mate? And
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Also, Nelly, quick question for you.
Go on.
Where do you, how do you manage all that information? Where do you hold it? You hold it in your brain? Do you look after it that way? Do you just keep it in your head and think about things? Or,
Yeah, I don't write anything down ever, to be fair. Unless I've got a list of shit to do. If I've got a list of stuff that I want to achieve because I want to be proactive in that particular moment, then I will write a list. But
no, I mean, honestly,
that is sound advice.
No, I mean, like, I cannot, and you know, I know from Billster's background, and you know, and he'll do the similar things the way that I do it, because we do a lot of planning. You have to do a lot of planning on the computers. I use fucking like OneDrive and Outlook, the diary in that, like it's literally, it manages my life now. I do the same on my phone, but do you know the most important thing that I have learned in the last couple of 3 months is writing things down. Is so, like, even on my phone, like I said, I just open up the notes app and I start a new set of notes and I write down everything. I can do that from like triaging my week to, you know, stuff I've got going at home, and I write them stuff down just so I can get it off my head. And then when I go in there, I go like, just literally cross it out with a fucking swipe through, mate. It's done.
No, it's not bad advice, mate, to be fair.
Well, it gets it off your head, mate, and that's a lot of the reason, a lot of the problems that we have is not writing things down. You know, I guarantee if Billy had to think about shooting, you know, as well as, you know, the level he's at with that, and as well as his job, and as well as his diving, and then as well as fucking his family, and then his dogs, which he feels passionate about, if he didn't write some of that stuff down, you know, he would, I guarantee you, unless he corrects me if I'm wrong, but, you know, it would overwhelm him.
there's a lot of stuff, and this is the thing, and I think that as men, we feel a lot of guilt when we feel bad or we feel overwhelmed, because we look around us and we go, but that guy's got, you know, 20 things in his bucket and he's coping all right. I've only got 15 things in my bucket and I'm feeling, you know, overwhelmed. And we go, well, you know, I should be able to manage it because they're managing it absolutely fine. It's just not the way that it works. Our brains, we're all individuals. We're all different.
Well, like, if we have to be that way, that's why there's certain people that do certain jobs. We all manage our stress as well in different ways. We all have different pressures. Like, I know that you two will deal with certain, like, I know, just give you an example. If I walked into it, if I got told, all right, I've got a fucking job to do, and it's like, basically I need to entertain fucking children, for the fucking week, I'd absolutely fucking crumble at that. I couldn't think of anything worse than that job. Whereas I know for a fucking fact that Nelly is fucking boom there. I know the attributes that he's got. I know where he fucking excels. And also then I look into it and go, well, he clearly can plan, etc., and do the other bits. He can process things. He can deal with things under pressure. But at the same time, if I chucked Nelly into, say, health and safety environment and said, right, mate, can you fucking find out the question for that? He'd literally look at me and go, fuck off, mate. I'm not fucking doing that. What do you mean I'm doing that? I'm not dealing. And the same as Kieran. You chuck Kieran in front of a computer. Believe it or not, the guy's a computer geek, but he fucking hates dealing with computers. So it's like, you know, and then if I come to you and go, right, fucking Billster, I want to go fucking diving, teach me, you'd be able to do it off the back of your eye, but then, you know, off the click of her fingers. But if you come to me and go, James, can you fucking teach fucking shooting? I'll be like, nah, mate, just point the gun and shoot it. It's different horses, different courses. We have different abilities under different stresses. I like reading boring shit, really, about health and safety, and I love learning about health and safety. Now, not many people can fucking say that, but I guarantee that in this collection of us three here, what's that? Me only? I'm probably the only sadistic bastard that would enjoy that process.
100%.
Yeah, no
see?
thanks.
So we all have these different abilities and these different ways of dealing with things, and that's why we tap into each other, I think. I mean, I certainly tap into, I think, like, Nellie's like me, he's quite a little bit high strung. I'm quite high strung. I think that fucking, yeah, I know, I'm being polite, mate.
Cheers, bro. Cheers.
But, you know, and then you look at Bilster and you look at fucking Kieran, and you're laid back as fuck on the front. So
this is the thing. It's like, you know, the other day, right? You all got on the group. You went press up challenge. And everyone was like, yeah, let's do the press up challenge. No. I honestly, I looked at it and I went, no, absolutely not, because seeing you all go, yeah, that put another stressor on me. I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. 100 fucking press ups.
I did 10 press ups at 11:54 so that I fucking got my 100 in.
He did.
Ridiculous.
We hadn't even started yet.
We even agreed you'd knocked out 1,000.
He's literally like, he's like the Duracell bunny, and he's like, pop, 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 pop.
You know what, my arms and shoulders are getting bigger though. I can feel it. I can definitely feel it.
And the thing is like, but then we've all got, again, different personalities. I knew for a fact that Nelly was going to fucking jump on it. I knew for a fact that Kieran would jump on it, not because he really wants to, but because I'm doing it, and he'll be like, I want to fucking do this so we can do it together. And I knew that, I already knew you were going to fucking say no. I was like,
fucking right, mate.
Billy is fucking
You
banging
can
out of
shut
this. There's
that.
no way he's doing 100 fucking press ups 7 days a week, mate.
Absolutely not, mate. Not interested in that at all. You know what I mean? Give me a juggling challenge, no problem.
Can you juggle?
Mate, can I juggle?
I can juggle.
I was scouted for the Moscow State Circus, mate.
Well, you weren't. I don't believe that.
Well,
No,
as,
he did,
as the
mate,
elephant
seriously.
man, yeah.
He did.
But,
He's got a certificate in it, mate. He knows.
Can
how
you
to
actually juggle?
He knows how to juggle.
yeah, I'm pretty good.
How many can you juggle?
What do you mean, how many can I juggle?
Well, how many things can you juggle? I can do 3 with 2 hands.
What?
And 2 with 1 hand.
Sorry, mate. This is amateur talk. 3 what? What you can juggle?
Well,
balls?
Balls or fucking,
What size? What size are they?
well, juggling balls are like in your hand, isn't it? A handful of balls.
Exactly, mate. Exactly, amateur stuff. So when
So
we're
what are
talking
you
about
juggling?
bowling balls, yeah.
You're not juggling. You're not juggling bowling balls.
What do you mean? That's easy, mate. That's like level 3, mate.
So hang on, let me get this straight. You won't do 100 fucking press ups in a month, but you can juggle bowling balls.
Easy, mate. Easy.
He
No,
juggles fucking live chainsaws, mate. Running.
How many bowling balls can you do? I bet you can't even juggle.
I could do
What?
5 or 6. I could do 5 or 6 juggling
You're
balls.
such a nut. Oh, juggling balls or fucking bowling balls.
So juggling balls, I
Yeah.
could do 5 or 6. Bowling
Okay.
balls, 3 because they're quite big. But
You can't do bowling balls. Too big, mate.
How many
That's
mental
too big.
balls can you fucking juggle?
On his chin.
On your fucking forehead, getting teabagged.
I'm telling you now, honestly. And then I learnt to. Obviously, I started off with juggling balls.
Yeah.
Well,
Hold up.
you work your way up, right? So you start with pebbles. If anyone's listening to us and wants to learn to
I'm
juggle,
going to send you a video of me juggling some apples, and you have to send me a video of you juggling something.
absolutely no worries. Do you want me to throw in a couple of tricks in there for you,
Mate, shut your eyes and do it.
mate? I know a few little tricks. Don't you worry about that, right? But listen, the key skill is when you can start to juggle clubs, right?
Yeah,
Then-
that sounds silly. Why would you do that? They're not even round.
Once you juggle clubs, then set them on fire.
Well, why would you do that? That's just health and safety risk, mate. James will have you guts for
Fucking
garden.
heart attack.
What is signed off fucking 3 weeks
Where's the
beforehand,
risk
mate?
assessment, you dickhead?
Where's the fire extinguisher? Where's the closest exit?
Exactly. Where's your fire strategy?
Can I do a video whilst on this podcast?
No.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
okay. Let me try.
Mate, we barely
That's
got on,
definitely
buddy.
against health and safety.
If I disappear, it's because I'm juggling. Hang on.
Right. All I'm going to say is, right, a minute ago we were talking about how taking on unnecessary tasks
Yep.
it's not beneficial for your health. Now we've got Nelly trying to do
Juggle
a
fire.
podcast and juggle fire clubs.
No, I'm not doing fire club.
Whilst
I mean
fucking
bowling
blowing
balls.
fire.
You can't do bowling balls. I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
Mate, honestly, if I had 3 bowling balls here, I would do it. Right, I'll see if I can find 3.
You must have to
footballs.
like bend your knees and stuff, mate. They're heavy.
Yeah, but you've just got to have you've got to have a bit of strength in the guns, mate.
God, the gun show, son.
I'm sorry, mate. I've got big arms now. I'll tell you what, my arms look like I masturbate a lot just in my right arm because it's massive, and the right one's right. Actually,
We've gone off
Jesus
mental health
Christ.
completely.
I tell you what, I wouldn't want to see you doing that press-up challenge, mate. You'll flip yourself over.
I sent that video when I dropped to the floor. Did you see that the other day when I just launched myself to the floor?
No.
You didn't
No,
see it?
I didn't see that either.
Fucking lies, mate. I've sent it on WhatsApp.
Listen to him, he's gutted. He's absolutely
I know you saw it, and you can't juggle 3 fucking bowling balls. Anyway, back to what we were talking about.
Yes, we were talking about undue pressures, mate. Yes,
We digress.
undue pressures.
I think it's some good advice for me to start writing some shit down, defo.
No, I think you should, mate. And do you know what? Just get a notebook and just fucking write stuff down. Keep a notebook. I always keep a notebook by the side of the bed, mate, and I write shit down. I just get it off my fucking head because it's so important there's stuff I've got on my fucking notes, mate, that I don't even understand. I genuinely don't understand what if I could put it together if I really thought about it, but it's just a lot of like lines of shit. I must do this, I must do that, and it's just getting it off my head, and it's clearly not important because I haven't gone back to it, or by writing it down, I've subconsciously remembered it, and I've just done it naturally. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily, the writing the lists, it's the prioritising.
Yes.
Because we've all got in our heads 100 things going on at the same time.
Oh,
you know what I mean? We're thinking about this and tomorrow and next week and this and that. But the fact is, half of that stuff we can fuck off because it doesn't matter whether we do it or we don't do it. It's just a little bit of a beneficiary that we might want to do it. You know what I mean? I'd love to learn German, but guess what? I've got to sort of like, I don't know, whatever it is, an hour, 2 hours into my Learn German course, and I was like, oh, do you know what, I ain't got time for this anymore. So I've put it to the back burner.
I know it is. And it's the amount of times I've started courses and gone, I ain't got the time for this. I've just fucking chinned it off, and I've gone, because I've done it with enthusiasm when I thought I was going to have the time, and then all of a sudden I've had to prioritise it, like you said, and gone, this is really low level shit. I don't need to worry about this.
Yeah. Exactly,
and by doing that, if I haven't gone back, it clearly wasn't that important, yet I was stressing about it.
Yeah, but sometimes, and do you know what the drama is there? Is when we have these 100 different things on, sometimes we can't tell what is most important, what is such a simple task to get done, and we overthink things and we think, oh God, and I'm guilty of it sometimes. I'm going to put my hands up here and say, I'm not perfect, man. By far.
Oh, by far, yeah, I am as well.
I have some tasks that, they're done in 10 minutes, and I put them off, and I put them off, and I put them off until 2 days before the deadline, and I go, oh, fucking hell, and it's stressing me out, because I'm thinking about it at night time, and I'm going, I really should have done that thing, last week when I had 10 minutes, but I didn't, and I put it off, and now I'm going, oh, God, I'm thinking about it, and it's stressing me out, and I'm worried about, going into work the next day going, oh, God, that thing's still looming over me. Then I get it done, and I go, what the fuck were you worried about?
Yeah.
It took you 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's it. And that's just by thinking about it and just writing it down, prioritising it. And we talk about that. We do it at work as well, because you naturally do it at work with everything. So why don't you do it with your own life? I always prioritise certain things. In the morning I must prioritise, and it sounds trivial, but I know every day I talk to you guys every fucking morning. I prioritise that because it makes me feel good. Then I go into work and what the fuck are you doing, Nelly?
Oh God, he's gone past Cape Canaveral again.
Is he climbing up some fucking mountain?
I'll mute myself in a sec, but I've got to run a sink of water. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
He's getting the blowtorch ready to set the bowling ball on fire.
yeah. He's getting his bucket of water ready in case the fucking house catches alight.
I'm cleaning my beautiful kitchen actuarially.
But yeah, you do. You prioritise everything. You do it with growing up, but then you just forget to do it with your normal duties in life. And by doing that, you then stress. And if you write stuff, and there's times where my shoulders, I've been sat there, literally in the middle of the day, and my shoulders are up by the top of my fucking head where I'm so tight and tense. And I go, what are you tense about? And it's because I'm thinking about something that I don't really need to think about, but it's consuming time from me. So when I write it down, I go, fucking move it along. I didn't need to worry about that.
I didn't realise how constantly tense I was until I started doing a bit of mindfulness. And I sat there, the first time I ever done it, I chinned it off. I told you the story about this. I ended up drawing cocks in the sand.
Yeah.
And the second time I sort of thought, I'll give this a go. And they said, okay, right, relax, concentrate on your breathing. and really relax. Think about relaxing their muscles. And, you know, at the time I'm going, yeah. But I did, mate. I thought about it and I relaxed and I was like, oh my God, you know, you're so tense all the time. And I properly relaxed and got into it. And I was like, wow. And I remember, I really, really do remember this, and I'm a big advocate for it. That second time I done mindfulness, bearing in mind, I totally pushed it away and said, nah, that's a load of crap.
Yeah.
The second time I done it, I remember after it was only like, I think like a 5-minute, 10-minute session maybe.
Yeah.
I opened my eyes, mate, and it just felt like, excuse the pun, a weight was lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah.
Just felt
And the
like
thing
new,
is,
man.
I did, because I was exactly the same as you. I didn't believe in meditation and mindfulness and body mapping. I didn't believe in any of that. And then I studied this fucking course on it, and I went, I'll give it a go. And I chinned it off a little bit. And it was only when you mentioned it the last time, and you spoke about going in the garden. And do you remember when you were talking about it in the garden? We put the analogy against
the nature walk.
Yeah, the nature walk. Yeah, and it was like, I then really started adapting into it. And it's like then, the reason I mentioned the shoulders up by my ears is because I literally just, whilst I was talking to you, I'm stood up to save my back. And I was body mapping myself. And I was going, why do I feel tense? So I dropped my shoulders about 3 inches. And I went, fuck it. And this is me relaxed talking to you, but my shoulders are still fucking like hunched right over. And it's incredible when you actually start the body mapping process. You start looking at your wellness, you start reflecting and going on nature walks and all these really good fucking things that we can do for free that doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, body mapping takes 30 seconds. You literally go head to toe, where am I holding my tension? And when you let yourself go, you're like, wow. You know,
sometimes it's hard to do though, mate, and it's hard to, you know, we all speak about it in the hindsight. Oh, it was only 5 minutes, it was only 10 minutes. But sometimes I find it quite hard to find those 5 minutes and 10 minutes.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Your days can go, I mean, how many times have we set reminders on our phones and on our watches to stand up every hour and, you know, take a drink of water every 15 minutes? And how many times?
I couldn't believe it today. I was trying to get hold of this guy. I need to speak to this guy. And I messaged him. I said, any chance that, you know, you got 2 minutes for a call? Yeah, no worries. 3 o'clock, should be good, right? And then literally 1 minute to 3, phone call goes, right? It weren't him, some other person. I spoke to them and I was like, okay, right, yeah. So then an email came in and it was like, right, listen, you need to get something squared away now. I was like, yeah, okay. Looked at my phone, had a missed call from him. Then I phoned him back. He didn't answer. He said, sorry, something's just happened here. I've got to sort this out. I was like, yeah, no worries. I said, let me know when you're free. And then got a text. Yeah, I'm free now. So as soon as he sent that text message, I'm free now. My phone then goes again. Something different's come up. And I was like, this is like for some people, just normal everyday stuff where they're just so busy. They're bouncing from one task to another, to another, to another. Eventually I did get hold of him and, you know, we had a quick chat to sort something out. But, it was just like
the thing
manic.
Is, it was like that. Last week alone on, I think it was on the Wednesday. The Wednesday. I was on 7 meetings throughout the day that literally, as one finished, then another one started. So there was, I think, 3 of those meetings that I had to cut because you know how sometimes the meetings overrun. I had to cut the meeting short and then jump onto the next meeting. And it was a lot of it was taking notes and shit. But at the end of the day, I'd never felt so fucking stressed in my life because I'd taken on, you know, 7 hours almost worth of fucking like information with no real break. Even in my half an hour dinner break, I was like thinking about it, and you're just completely and utterly bombarded. It's ludicrous when you have to do that every day.
I think there's a key message there. We're all 3 of us have just said times where we've almost been overwhelmed with stuff that's going on. And I think that, you know, the key takeaway for this, for anyone that's listening, is, do you know what? It's normal. It's absolutely normal to feel this, and you've just got to try and find a coping mechanism or a strategy. That's a better word.
Yeah.
A strategy of being able to, you know, manage these tasks. And do you know what? Sometimes it doesn't matter if you don't get everything done that day. You know what I mean? It's not, you know, it's not life and death.
That's it. The key is, and this is where I try my little mantra, as I want to call it, I'll call it because it might be relatable, but it's trying to remember as a mantra to nothing I do is risk to life. I don't get paid enough to worry about risk to life. And I don't mean that in a negative because of what I get paid, but the further you go up the food chain, the more you get paid for the more pressures you take. So you have to come along with those, but everybody feels it at their levels. So you've got to just remember that nothing you do is risk to life. So it's not going to go anywhere.
And if it is, maybe prioritise that one.
And then, yeah, exactly. And if it is risk to life,
rather than thinking about the other 10 things that don't actually fucking matter.
Yeah, exactly. Don't sit there and worry about what's for fucking tea or fucking blah, 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 this next meeting. If you've been given that risk to life task, then prioritise it. So the rest of the things can fuck off because they're slippable. And that's where we come into that management of our day, don't we?
Yeah, big time. What are your thoughts on that, Nelstar?
He's banged out, mate.
I was sitting there listening. So I kind of think that everyone's issues are so unique to them. Like, for example, I don't have any problems with getting in a car and driving wherever because I haven't had 3 car crashes and I haven't had that experience. So for me, that isn't a regular stress of mine that I go through. So I think everyone just needs to be a bit kinder to each other. That's kind of where I feel is that there's so many fucking negative news about, regardless of whether you interact with them, whether you just see them interacting with other people, whatever. Just think everyone just needs to be a bit kinder and understand that actually they might be going through some shit and not be able to say it, or like that's kind of where my mind's been for the last couple of months, to be fair. And I've always been a nice person. I've always been kind and not gone out of my way to do nice stuff to people. But moreover, to be a bit less judgmental. Like, is it?
Oh, he's gone. What's happened? Have I gone? Hello? Oh, no way. I think we've cut out everybody. I think we've had technology issues again. Oh, God, I'm absolutely gutted. Nelly's bouncing away. I don't think the Bilster's there anymore. I'm not even sure if you can hear me. So I'll wrap it up there because I don't know whether he's going to come back. I think we just had a massive network issue. And I don't want to lose this amazing podcast. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. I'm going to get another live, get the 2 guys on again, and we'll have a good chat and a good catch up. I hope you enjoyed today. Just remembering, like I said, I'll reiterate exactly what Nelly was saying. We need to be kind to each other, support each other, listen, talk, be open. It's really important to get good, positive vibes out there. Thanks for listening, everybody. I look forward to doing some more podcasts again this week. And, thanks for listening. And I hope you're all going to stay positive, stay happy, and, stay focused on the positivity.
Then you get a third bowling ball and then you set it on fire, right? That's all we got to do. That's how you learn how to juggle bowling balls.
I'll start with tennis balls, thanks.
Am I back? Are you in? Are we there?
Oh my God! Is someone just knocked out?
I'm in.
I'm in.
Jimbo.
And the host has gone.
Has he gone?